On communication. Chris, we're going to begin with you. Communication is an important part of your platform. What do you propose to improve when it comes to communication?
You know, one great question. It is something that I've mentioned and I've talked about a lot. The problem is I've gone around and talked to folks. A lot of them don't even know that we have had transportation leaders. A lot of folks don't even know we have an election in November, or they know we have a comprehensive plan. I mean, I understand that we've got a website, but I also think it's a part of responsibility of the people in the office to make sure that the content of information is getting out there. I don't know that I have the exact plan or idea. I just know that it is lacking in this community, and I know that it has gotten better by what you're stating. But the fact of the matter that I can go talk to people and they don't know there's even an election is a problem. And you know, outside of a communications director really pushing the message out there, I don't necessarily have that answer right now. But it is something that I would certainly like to sit down and talk about with the community and find out exactly what is it that you're looking from the city. You know, where is the city lacking in getting that information to you, and what is the best way to get it to you? And I think that we can do that versus me trying to solve it. Thank you. But actually getting input from folks who aren't getting the information, I think that's where we need to start.
All right, Stephanie, what can you tell us you've done in the past 18 months to improve communication?
So one of the reasons I got involved was for that exact reason, that residents weren't being communicated with. And so immediately after I was on council, we had a special call meeting, and I started talking to the city manager about getting more information out on Nextdoor and Facebook. And that has tremendously changed in the last 18 months. They were pushing out certain meetings, but everything is now going out, because I said that's one portal, because Nextdoor has become a very big conduit for engaging residents who are on there, as well as Facebook. So that has increased. Plus, I held my own town halls when I first started. I had 2 town halls in the first year, and then the council started having some, and there were lots of town halls related to T-Splosh. So I intend to continue to hold those, but we've had so many town halls now and I was pushing for the town halls and the coordination meetings with residents to be able to be talking about these projects that are impacting their areas. At the same time, I was connecting with residents, say down on Barnwell Road, to be able to be engaged in the discussion that's happening on Jones Bridge at the top, because what happens at the top of Jones Bridge is going to impact the people at the bottom of Jones Bridge, or at the south end. And so really just, I've also done email blasts of my own to engage residents on different topics so that they could talk with their neighbors. It is hard to reach everyone. In many meetings, we've talked about how the city has had passive communication, where they consistently would put things on their billboards and say we've communicated with the residents. And I said that's just not enough. We have to be proactive. And so it's an ever-evolving process. But fortunately, by the number of people who are now coming to these forums, whereas before they were a handful, and the number of people coming to council meetings, the word is getting out and people are engaging. It's never going to be perfect because it is individual specific. You have to want to also know and be involved. But in the last 18 months, I would say communication has tremendously changed and improved. A lot more people are involved, and their voices are being heard, and they're able to connect now with city staff so that they can improve their own areas and have input into the process.
Let's talk Performance Arts Center, since you've got the mic. Stephanie, the arts and cultural community contributes greatly to the quality of life of Johns Creek. They've been heavily campaigning for the city to pay for a feasibility study, which they contributed to recently. Should the city invest in a performance arts center? If so, yes, how? And if no, why?
So the performing arts community is a tremendous community within Johns Creek, but I struggle with the city having the resources to be able to invest in land and then to build the building and then to staff it, because we're talking about easily $20 to $30 million. And right now we have very little left in reserve, and we're also talking about taking the money in the park bonds. So today there isn't money there to be able to invest. I think that the city using the funding from the hotel motel tax to help look at the feasibility study to say, would it even be feasible to build one? Would you be able to financially sustain it? Is going to be critical to that discussion and understanding that. But sitting today, knowing the numbers like I know them, the money doesn't exist to acquire the land and then to build the building and then to staff it. And as an accountant, that's critical in my thinking, because numbers are all that roll through my head up front. And so there's a lot that's been done through the city for the arts and culture community to be able to have more activities that they go to,